I mean, if you're a team that is going to rely on the pace of your forwards, what you need to ensure is that your forwards can score goals when they go 1v1 against the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, my takeaway from this game is that Salmon and Grant need shooting practice, like 1v1 shooting practice. You know what I'm saying? Hello, everyone. You're watching All About the W, your weekly deep dive into the WSL. Stats, stories, and standout performances. Let us break it all down. I'm Kai, and as always, I'm joined by Ash. Ash, how do you feel after taking off the Chelsea jacket? Has your
Oh,
skin
I'm.
recovered?
I swear I was breaking out into hives. I'm so happy to have it off. I'm so I am not I hope that this doesn't stay. This video does not stay for forever in people's mind and posterity.
Listen,
But
it's on the internet forever. You know how the
yeah,
internet works.
the internet never forgets.
Exactly. All right. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you're a regular, do not forget to hit that like button and comment below. This is all about the match day where we review all the fixtures from the WSL weekend. Ash, this was a slightly lackluster weekend, I would say.
Yeah, my God, it was so boring. I did not enjoy a single game this weekend, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
But anyway, let's just get on with it.
sure.
Arsenal versus Brighton ended 1-0 to Arsenal. Ollie Slugger's own goal in the 16th minute. Thank you, Ollie Sluggers, for giving me no points in the fantasy WSL this weekend. But anyway, Kai, as our resident Brighton watcher, what did you think about this game?
First things first, Arsenal needed a win. So, like, they've gone on like a winless run for like a, what, 3, 4 matches now. So they needed a win. They got the job done. So well done, Arsenal. But yeah, generally it wasn't the most exciting game. While I was watching, I really wanted Brighton to make a point, as you do when you're a Chelsea fan watching Arsenal. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think credit to Arsenal. It's something maybe they don't do always too well, which is just to see a game out. And like I will say this, I want to talk about Arsenal first. I feel like they started the game really strong. They came out firing. They get that first goal, and then suddenly everything just goes flat. Like you would think, getting like the first goal at the Emirates, the crowd is cheering you on, and that would like push them on to get more goals. But yeah, and that did not happen. And then Kirby has his chance, which I genuinely feel like she could have done better with. Kiko Seke sort of cuts the ball back, and it kind of falls pretty nicely to her, but she shoots it straight at Van Domselaar, and I felt like okay, that's like a warning shot, and maybe Arsenal will kind of wake up and try and get that one goal cushion. But none of that happened. Nothing seemed to buoy Arsenal on, unfortunately. And I feel like, they've kind of fallen back into some of those bad Jonas Idewal habits, in some ways. I feel like, moving the ball not fast enough, like you say it the best, Ash. You always say, why is it always so glacial with Arsenal, right? It's just so slow the way they move the ball. And it's like something that really annoys me is when you have a player like Olivia Smith, all you need to do is kick the ball at her, and like she'll kick the ball past her like defender and run. Right? That's an opportunity that Arsenal have that they simply seem to like refuse to use, and that is really annoying me now. Like initially, I thought okay, they'll figure it out slowly, but it's we were like what 6 games in, 5 games in, and it's really irritating me now how Olivia Smith, like just let her do what she does best.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes I feel like with these really tactical managers, they get so stuck on a system, they cannot see the individual strengths of their players. It's the opposite of the Skinner problem, where they just, like, even for someone like Smith, I'm sure the instructions are, one or two touch pass instead of, like, use your speed and get past people. Carry the ball forward. I think that sometimes you got to like keep flexibility in your system for those people's individual talents. And I feel like in the Champions League last year, that's what got Arsenal through. The fact that they put a lot of trust in like the individual abilities of someone like Chloe Kelly, for example.
Right.
And I feel like somehow that they've by practicing more and by like doing drills, etc., they've become gone back to being the structured robotic Arsenal that's really predictable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but you saw Olivia Smith and you dropped £1 million on that boot and on that person, and uh, and you're like, oh, actually, don't carry the ball at speed. Never mind. Like, what is that? I mean, that's really starting to annoy me. I feel like there will come a point where they will start doing that, and like a really good team to try that against is probably Chelsea, because we are just so wide open at the back. Um, but yeah, I think for Arsenal, the other thing that stood out for me is probably how good Kyra Kunikross looked when she came on. Like her movement was excellent. The way she carried the ball, she fed in some really good passes through as well. She's a really good player, and I really do wish that they would give her some minutes to get some rhythm. And you know, the amount of energy she injected into that Arsenal midfield, it was like night and day. I'm not even lying. Like, it was crazy, the difference. Um, for Brighton, there were some really good moments from players. Like, obviously, Kiko Seike was sort of tearing it up. I think she was fully cooking Katie McCabe. There's no other way of putting it. Fran Kirby, Chankovic, all of them looked really good. Like, they had good moments. And I was kind of impressed with Camacho as well. She gets her first start, obviously, because Ajimang and Kafaji don't get they can't play against Arsenal. So naturally they are not up for selection. So you have Camacho who gets a start, and I thought she looked really bright. Like, she's energetic. I feel like with a bit of coaching, I see a player who can potentially lead a press. And obviously she forced that crazy save from Van Domselaar. I mean, what a save that was. When Camacho headed the ball, I was like, oh, goal, yay. They've equalized, and then boom. Van Domselaar, just, yeah, brilliant save from her. uh, yeah, all of these players look good, but for me, the player that I do want to really shout out is Charlie's Rule. I feel like she's really gone under the radar. As somebody who watches Brighton week in and week out, like, even I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, I really wanted to give her a shout out and I didn't. But I feel like she is like she's been so consistent in this. I mean, it's only been 6 games, but she's only 22 years old, young defender, very calm on the ball. Like last season we spoke a lot about how Brighton don't have the profile of a right profile of players to play out from the back. I feel like Charlie's Rule is one of those players who is actually really good on the ball. She's very calm in, like, high pressure defensive moments, very good in the air. I've been very, very impressed by her. I think there's a top quality defender in there. I hope she remains as consistent as she is, like, throughout the season. That would be a big win for Brighton and Vidosic, because I think uh, Vidosic kind of brought her in from Sydney FC. Isn't that where he was coaching earlier? So, yeah. Overall, the game was okay. I think Arsenal are living a like dangerously a little bit with this kind of 1-0 scoreline. But hey, who am I to say anything about a 1-0 scoreline? You do you, I guess.
Yeah, speaking of 1-0 score lines, Chelsea versus Spurs ended 1-0.
Yeah.
Walsh scored in the 61st minute. Good goal from Walsh, I think, in the end. But definitely not a display that highlights the wonderful footballing quality of the WSL.
No.
Um, Kai, you give your thoughts on this game because I also have many thoughts.
Okay, I will give thoughts on Chelsea.
Yeah.
Uh, Created enough. Alyssa Thompson really cooked Ashley Neville, but at the same time, I did feel like Ashley Neville played well. I don't know how to, like, I'm trying to make sense of that in my head, but I thought, like, obviously Thompson, I think, was named the player of the match. I'm a little concerned about the final ball. from Thompson. Hopefully that will come, because I am very afraid that we're going to get stuck with like a JRK 2.0 on the left hand side. Like, I mean, like those who watch the NWSL, don't come at me. Like, I've seen uh, a few games that Thompson has played for Angel City, but also like I've seen some comps. I know she's a very good footballer, but I can't help but feel like, oh, is this going to be another, player who has a lot of pace but can't really do anything much with the ball? I'm sure I'm wrong. Uh, yeah, overall, I I think we're starting to see what happens when you know your plan A is to go out wide and cross the ball in, and teams are happy to usually deal with that. If you're just going to keep doing that, teams are happy to pack out the box, prevent you from going through the middle, and sort of, yeah, defend the box. And I think Spurs did that extremely well. A couple of different issues for Chelsea, I would say. One is, um, obviously, how do you then play through the middle? How do you then create that space for yourself? And I feel like, you know, every time Aggie, like I've been a little critical of Aggie in the last couple of weeks. I think I was in the watch along as well. Um, the issue is when Aggie receives the ball, she's just like surrounded by players. So like you need players to make runs into the box to pick up a ball that Aggie lays off, or something. There needs to be more movement in the box. I feel like that's really missing because we're constantly stuck in like 2v3 situations, sometimes 2v4. Like there's nobody in, like there's not enough bodies in the box, and that's just wasteful when you're just going to cross the ball in. So I think need to have more bodies in the box, and also figure out a way to play through the middle. Like I know that teams are trying to pack the box out, but at the same time, the best of teams still try to still manage to find space and all of that. So yeah, did Chelsea deserve the win? I think in this game, Chelsea definitely deserved the win, because to me, Spurs looked, yeah, just like there was nothing from Spurs. But yeah, still it's 3 points. I'll take it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I have a fundamental problem with Spurs and the way they played.
Hmm.
The first of all, the team selection, just why change what's working? Like, I'm not saying Olivia Holt brought like great things to that lineup in the previous game against Brighton or whatever. But uh, if it's working, don't change it. I also like, I think Ho kind of overthought this a little bit. And I do not know what has happened to Drew Spence since she was not on the bench. I can only imagine that it's an injury, but I have not heard any news. I don't know if you've seen anything, Kai, because I've certainly not on Twitter. I've checked. Nobody said anything about why Drew Spence
Yeah.
was missing. But I think that midfield, the Summon and Spence midfield works in a way that the Artin and Summon in midfield did not. I think Spurs did not get to the first ball, did not get to the second ball, they did not get to any ball because they were
Yeah.
only concerned with keeping Chelsea out,
Mm-hmm.
not for scoring. And this is my problem, right? I'm not expecting you to win against Chelsea. I'm not. And the truth is, anyway, to teams like Chelsea and City, you're going to lose points. If you're going to lose, you might as well lose trying to win. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to lose those 3 points anyway. uh, and I'm not against like sitting back and packing the box and doing all of that. Like, do that game management, but at least start with a little bit of ambition, and then slowly, as Chelsea gets more and more possession, draw further back, as it would happen organically in a game. Don't go out straight from the bat expecting that because Chelsea will be dominant, we'll stay deep.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to concede anyway, might as well concede trying to play football.
Yeah.
So I was really upset by that, because in the second half, after Chelsea scored, you could see that Spurs have the ability to progress the ball. They have the ability to meet Chelsea in the midfield. just move the team. I don't even think that we needed a high line or anything. I just think we needed to push the team up, say 10 yards,
Yeah.
15 yards. Just move it, just move like 2 3 steps further. That's all we needed to be competitive in the midfield. Otherwise, like, Samanin was kind of like a like a fifth defender at
Yeah.
one point,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
Artinen was like alone in the midfield. You know,
Hmm.
um, like either, and it was at one point like in the final in like the Chelsea's half, there was just Stanberg all by
Yeah.
herself. Like, she's a good player, but she's not a miracle worker. It's insane to expect that you're going to be able to counter with a solitary Tandberg standing there,
Yeah.
against a defender like Millie Bright. It's ridiculous. You cannot, like, I think it's drips of a lack of ambition. You are third on the table. You were third on the table.
Yeah.
At that point, go for it. Just because you're going to lose to Chelsea anyway, you might as well lose with some respect.
Yeah.
You know, it
You
just
know,
hurts
what
me.
is interesting for me? Like, when we did the preview, what I said was, hey, you know what? Spurs have been pressing really well, like against Brighton. And in the games that we saw them play before, like one thing that I was really impressed with was how Spurs were pressing as a unit. And I was expecting to see that because
Yeah,
we know what happens. Like Villa was like showed what happens when like Chelsea are pressed. When our back line is pressed, we turn over the ball very easily. So in my head, I was like, oh, Martin Ho is going to prep this team to do exactly that, win the ball back and score a couple of goals. So yeah, as like
honestly, I did not mind losing 5-1 to City. I was like, it's fine. I expect to lose to City anyway. Yes, at the moment of watching it, it hurts. But
yeah,
at least you walk away from that game thinking, okay, everyone tried playing.
mhm,
And you can at least try one half of playing. I'm not even saying do
yeah,
it for 90 minutes. Stay packed in your box, do all of those other things, but come out and play for at least, choose it, do it in spurts, right? When you have the ball, at least then you come out and play.
yeah. Yeah, I think it was definitely a disappointing game, and I mean, for people who want to know how we felt in the moment, the watch along that we did is probably up on our channel, so go and check that out. But yeah, I think Ash and I were largely just bored and were complaining about the number of corners there were in this game.
Oh God.
I think the fullbacks really. I mean, Neilden and Neville did well, but at the same time, they did really struggle with the pace. I think Neilden maybe did slightly better than Ash Neville, obviously. But yeah, the outcome of that was just the ball getting just put out of play, and Chelsea constantly kept winning corners
Yeah, to be
and did
fair,
nothing with it.
I am proud of how well Spurs, because last season we would have conceded
Oh
from
yeah,
corner. So, like, I am proud of how well organized the Spurs team was on corners, because
yeah.
that's something we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, there were moments when Chelsea did look dangerous, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. We must have gotten like 15, 16 corners in that game, and yeah, uh, we should probably try and make better use of our set pieces, but that's a conversation for another day, I guess. Ash, any final thoughts, or shall I move to Liverpool versus City?
Let's move, I think.
Okay, all right, she said enough. Liverpool versus Man City, finishing 2-1 to City. Um, Cornelia Capox scoring in the 52nd minute, Iman Bene scoring in the 64th, and Fujino with the winner in the 86th minute. Happened at Anfield, I think, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about this game?
I mean, I know there's been a lot of criticism of Liverpool. I kind of felt sorry for Liverpool in this game. You can see that they've improved since the first game of the season. They're more organized in defense. They were constantly creating offside traps that City players kept falling into, particularly Bunny Shaw. They were putting their bodies on the line in the defensive third, especially Holland and Fisk, who really had their work cut out for them. And in the first half, just as Liverpool was slightly getting into the game, they lost Hobinger. which is a real shame for Liverpool, but an even bigger shame, I think, for Hobinger, who has just come back from injury.
Yeah.
Uh, so, like the first half, I reckon after Hobinger's exit belonged entirely to City. Liverpool had like zero shots, let alone shots on target. Uh, and I have to admit that no matter how you feel about her behavior off the pitch, Borgrafe kept Liverpool in the game on the pitch. And then Liverpool came out firing in the second half. I also reckon the first half attacking performance of Liverpool made City a little bit overconfident. Like they weren't just playing a high line. They were literally camped in the Liverpool box for large parts of the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes like Yamashita was the only City player in defense.
Yeah.
And so like they deserve to concede a goal. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot be that overconfident against a fellow WSL
Yeah.
side, And shout out to Holland's ball into the box, absolutely stellar ball.
Hmm.
It required very little work from Capox to score, which she
Yeah.
did.
Hmm.
Credit to Capox. Uh,
Is
and then
Capox Liverpool's only goal scorer so far?
I think so. She might
That's
be.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is wild. And so, like, I think briefly, I think that's also what made City overconfident. The fact that Liverpool are unable to score.
Hmm.
Uh, and then, like, briefly, City lost their heads, as they do. And it looked like Liverpool have a chance. But Jurglertz made a really surprising substitution, taking Miedema off for Coombs rather
Hmm.
early in the game. And then Bene scored, and then it was all City all the way. I was actually really surprised by the Miedema substitution because I thought she was one of the best players in the first half for City. Like she seemed to have been given like this roaming role, and all the creativity in City's attack seemed to involve her. Like
Hmm.
perfect 10 in that sense. But I'm not the manager. Clearly, Eglert saw something different and proved to be right. I think I'll tell you what I think it is. I think Miedema and Shaw don't seem to link up very well. Like the one time Shaw was open and Miedema chose to pass with a deeper cross rather than passing to Shaw.
Right.
But honestly, if they can figure their link up play, City will be unstoppable. Like because apart from that one final ball, City look really fluid. Like
Hmm.
Blinky in midfield seems like Hasagawa 2.0. And that's kind of freeing Hasagawa to bomb
Damn.
forward with
That is high
confidence.
praise.
It is. I'm telling you, she seems like she's absolutely stellar in defense. And Bene, we have to talk about Bene. Like there literally wasn't a blade of grass on her side of the pitch that Bene would not have covered through the course of this game. Like I'm wondering whether Bene comes with like extra energizer batteries because without the ball, she just kept running and running and running. Like, although I will say that Bene seems to come from the Chloe Kelly school of defense, which is
Oh.
stick your limbs out and hope they come in contact with ball and not player, which
Yeah.
led to some last minute anxiety, I think, for City, a few one or two free kicks here and there. But Gasparai had a good game as usual, and to my surprise, so did Wahabi. Very quietly doing well for City, Wahabi. But I have to say, City are looking scary because this is them at their worst, right? When all the injured players come back, they can only be better than they are now. Like with the likes of like Nark and Hemp to return, and maybe Fowler at the end of the season,
Oh
and
yeah.
Jan transfers are also coming soon. Like we have not seen the best of City, and that's what scares me. Like
There's
their
also
growth is.
Carolyn.
I think there's some time for Carolyn. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't know when she's coming back, but yeah,
Yeah,
that is
but
definitely a scary squad.
think about it. How scary it is that this is them at their worst.
Hmm. Yeah,
So yeah,
that's going to be quite interesting. I mean, we know how injuries work, but yeah, I feel like when there are more people in contention, the quality is just going to go up. And
yeah.
I think City, I don't know if like we discussed this a couple of weeks ago. I think City probably best placed to win the league. I would say they don't even have Champions League. So I do feel like Yeglerts has brought some shift in mentality a little bit. So we'll see how that works.
If nothing else, I think the dressing room is happier
Hmm.
than it was under Taylor. So,
Yeah.
and I think it shows, like it shows in the team cohesion,
Yeah.
to some extent. I mean, I obviously I'm not a fly on the wall, so I can't say for sure, but it feels like that.
Hmm.
Anyway, moving on from City, Aston Villa versus Leicester ended in a rather competitive nil-nil. Good on Leicester. I didn't expect them to keep a clean sheet here. Kai, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, it was competitive, maybe not so much. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I watched the game with my Villa hat on, or what, but I enjoyed this game, especially the first half. But yeah, I mean, for Villa, it'll definitely feel like 2 points dropped because they created so many chances. They had like the highest XG this weekend. I was just looking at like everybody's XG because I wanted to check. Um, was Chelsea's the highest XG. That's how I found this. Anyway, um, created five big chances, and guess how many big chances they missed? Ash, all
I
five.
mean, all five. The score
Exactly.
line is
it
self-explanatory
is.
there.
It is. Like I was just absolutely baffled. Like Daily Salmon and Grant were cooking. Like Daily in particular, I feel like she's finally, uh, you know. Kind of found her footing in that role, playing behind Salmon. They have that weird 1-2 in the front, right? So up top. So uh, I feel like in that deeper role, Daily coming and collecting the ball and being that playmaker. I feel like she was very good in this game doing that. But overall, on that right hand side, the movement was like insane. They're playing very, very fluid football. Of course, like granted, it was Leicester, but then again, Leicester are known to be an organized side defensively. But yeah, watching the game, I was just so shocked, man, how they didn't come away with 3 points. Like it's just yeah, I mean, if you're a team that is going to rely on the pace of your forwards, what you need to ensure is that your forwards can score goals when they go 1v1 against the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, my takeaway from this game is that Salmon and Grant need shooting practice, like 1v1 shooting practice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and like yeah, it's like all of these moments are just flashing in my brain as I'm talking. But yeah, just like moving away from the forward line, I also thought Missy Kearns had a really good game, as did Lucia Kendall. I thought they were both winning duels, recovering the ball really well in the midfield. And also some of the balls that they played through to Salmon uh, were absolutely top class. I mean, so many of those 1v1 chances either came from Kendall or from Missy Kearns. So, yeah, really good showing from that Villa midfield as well. And I think both Missy Kearns as well as Lucia Kendall have got a call up from Serena Wiegman. I just saw um, the
England call up
yeah,
sheet.
England call up sheet for the friendlies. I think against Brazil. Some interesting names there. Katie Reed has got a call up, which I mean, for me, the biggest surprise is Taylor Hines has got a call up.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Heinz has had a for her had a good season
No,
last season.
I mean, last season. So thing is, Hines has barely played. Is my point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm a bit unsure about the Hines call up. Also, I was surprised because she has played for Jamaica, but I'm guessing I don't know. There's like a friendly thing, no? Like she's not played competitive fixtures for Jamaica.
yeah, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, put down in the comments and everyone, how do you feel about the England call up sheet?
yeah, and also like other teams as well. Like I've actually not. I know Canada has also had like the call up announced. So I think Jade Rose as well as Olivia Smith have both got called up. I'm guessing Riviere as well. So let us know in the comments what you think about some of these call ups. But let's move on to Leicester. They have a new manager. Passmore has been appointed as a like a head coach now,
Permanent.
permanent from interim. Uh, I I thought Leicester weren't very good, but I still feel like they could have nicked a goal. Uh, I think in the 20th minute or so, there was this really nice ball over the top from Thibaut to Kane, who then sort of whipped it in. And it was just begging to be poked in Ash. I'm telling you, just a tip of a toe from anybody, and that would have even like an own goal opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
That's what frustrates me about Leicester. Okay, like they play deep, the way they play, they just need someone to score those tap-ins, and it just frustrates me that they cannot find the person to do that. Like I thought last season that Eric's daughter would be that person, but it didn't happen. I'm hoping they find someone who does that, just tap-ins every game.
Yeah, I think Daughter is not even making the team. I'm not really sure if
Yeah.
she's fit, but yeah, I thought Leicester would have probably walked away being the happier of the two teams. There were a couple of spells in the game where they had possession, they were attacking Villa, but yeah, like nothing really happened in a sustained manner. Um, in terms of individual performances, I thought Kaiman was very good. Thibaut was very good. They were both solid defensively. And even Ashmita Ale on the other side, because I feel like Grant was giving her a torrid time. So I thought she did okay. But of course, the player we have to shout out is Janina Leitzig because she had to make some of those saves. I mean, like to be fair,
8 points. 8 points in this fantasy team that I have with Yanina
oh, well
Leitich
done,
as
well
my
done.
goalkeeper.
Well done. Good call there, putting Leipzig there. But yeah, I mean, uh, there were like I think three or four 1v1 situations that she was in, made herself big. Uh, she was also very front footed. I think as the game went on, especially saving some of these 1v1s, I feel like she probably grew in confidence as well because she's very front footed in preventing some of the crosses from reaching Villa players as well. Some low crosses as well. She punched it out like very 180-degree to the ground. Anyway, so that was very impressive from Leipzig. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I had a lot of fun watching this one. All right, next one. Everton versus United finishing 4-1. Um, Hayashi opened the scoring for Everton in the 16th minute, and then Mallard equalized in the 62nd minute. Kitagawa own goal in the 70th minute, and then Jess Park with a brace in the 84th and the 89th minute. Um, Obviously, some rotation that happened, Ash, and United also um, have a midweek game coming up. Probably, I don't know what the fixture is, but I'm guessing it's a tough one. Tell me a bit about this game.
Uh, so this game was slightly more competitive than the scoreline would suggest, but also slightly less exciting than the scoreline would suggest. It it I tell you what this game did. It definitely answered the question of how United would play midweek games with their scant squad. Like
Hmm.
the answer is be competitive for one half with rotated players like Nalson, play both Sandberg and Rolfo, and then bring on the big guns like Park and Zigiotti in the second half.
Right.
To be fair, if Turland had a better game, she could have scored in the first half, as could have Nalson, as could have Mallard. All three had decent half chances. Mallard, I think, was the best player on the pitch for United, at least in my opinion. But I think Everton, to their credit, did manage to convert their one decent opportunity in the first half. Winning a free kick through Robinson's efforts, and Robinson, in my opinion, was the best player for Everton in this game. She really gave Sandberg a tough time. If they hadn't lost 4-1, I would say, Sandberg was in Robinson's pocket. I have to find her. But definitely gave her a tough time. And Momiki always takes a great set piece.
Yeah.
Put the ball in a dangerous area, ball pings around, finds Hayashi 1-0 Everton. And
Hmm.
that was their single shining moment of the game. Before and after that, it was all United. Still they managed to hold on until the 70th minute. When they conceded. Like I thought till then they were defensively really solid. It was a rather unfortunate own goal from Kitagawa, who until then was having a really good game in defense. I thought.
I
Um,
really rate her. I'm not
I
surprised. I
think
mean, having seen her play, I'm not surprised at all that she's benched Pacheco.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
she is solid.
absolutely. Very solid. And I understand Sorensen's logic, okay? Keep it tight for at least 60, 70 minutes in the game. Gargo is not fully fit yet, so bring Gargo and Payne on for the last 10, 15 minutes, a burst of attacking strength, pace, whatever you want to call it, and, give them the ball and have them do the work. But the problem is that that logic only works if you manage to get the ball to them,
Yeah.
and that was not happening for Everton. I thought Everton's midfield is there is just something that's not clicking there. I don't know if it's this combination of like Momiki Mace. I don't know what it is. Something is not working there, and he needs to figure out what his best midfield is.
Yeah.
Anyway, after United's A team came on, minus Sterling, Jess Park just blew them away. Like two fantastic goals, both from the edge of the box. The first one was slightly ahead of the edge of the box, but edge of the box nonetheless, and the second slightly further away than the first.
Yeah.
So Park basically earned two goals and a possible concussion in this game.
Hmm.
I hope Jess Park is fine.
Yeah.
Uh, what a start for United Jess Park has had, just immense. I cannot like. I think that United have definitely gotten the better player in this Clinton Park switch up.
I
You know,
completely disagree. I mean, I'm sorry. That's It's too early to make that
yeah, yeah,
judgment for
yeah.
me. Like, Clinton
As
has
in
barely played for
the
City.
the player that has made the most immediate impact. Let me correct
Ha,
it like that.
immediate impact for sure because Clinton has barely played for City. Like, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
she's struggling with injury as well.
yeah.
I mean, not to say that Jess Park is not a good player, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, are you concerned about Everton? Because um, I
I
mean,
don't.
I
I tell you
feel like
what.
there is more in this squad than what we are seeing so
Yeah,
far.
I mean, to be fair, they were in the game for a long time, and like that's all you can expect against a team like United, who are one of the best teams in the WSL. So
Right.
Everton aren't necessarily expected to be compared. It's like the Spurs Chelsea game. You're not expected to be competitive against United,
Yeah.
but I am and there are much teams that are doing much worse, I think, football in footballing terms than Everton are. I reckon both Liverpool and West Ham have slightly bigger worries than
Yeah.
Everton do. So definitely not the worst of the lot, but I would have expected Everton to kick off from the form. Like they almost eclipsed Liverpool last season.
Yeah.
So I think that I would expect that Everton would have kicked off from there, and they had a great transfer season. So I was expecting a little bit more from them,
Mhm.
but I'm not yet worried about them. I think it's too early to worry about them.
Yeah, I think unlike say a West Ham or a Liverpool, maybe not so much West Ham either, but definitely with Liverpool, I feel like I don't think I don't think Everton have a personnel issue. I feel like, from the very first game, there's been a lot of changes to that midfield, which kind of suggests that Sorensen is still trying to figure out. Like, I think Van Gool was there in the beginning, and now Van Gool is no longer there. It's Momiki and Mace, and I don't know, Lad comes in once in a while. So, like, I feel like he's really struggling to. Hayashi's come in this game as well. So I feel like he's really struggling to like nail down a starting midfield. Maybe the key is to sort of just allowing a trio to just play for 3 games and
Yeah.
see how it works. I don't know, a couple of games at least, but yeah, I think for me as well, I think Sorensen, for him, it's I don't see it as a personnel issue. I think it's just a balance issue. But yeah, speaking of concerning performances, teams in concerning positions, West Ham losing 1-0 to London City Lionesses. Kosovare Aslani scoring in the 68th minute. Ash, it's been a while since West Ham have won. What is happening?
This game was the goal in this game was so bizarre, like uncharacteristic goal. Like Kinga
Yeah.
Shemik, what you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like Aslani literally took the ball off of Shemik's feet. Not that Shemik passed it out and there was
And
confusion. literally ball at Shemik's feet. Aslani presses, takes the ball away, and scores. Okay. And that's all she wrote. That's all that happened in the game. Like, both teams were bad. Nobody was good. The less said about this game, the better. You know?
Uh,
Uh, I'm rather disappointed with West Ham. I thought, with their League Cup win and some improvement in play, they would definitely catch Elsier on the counter. And to be fair, Asai had a lovely shot, absolutely stellar shot from distance that just grazed the post in like the 20th minute or some such. And Asai also put the ball into the box on a corner that nobody converted. Finally, Kumagai cleared it. So basically, it's stop Asai, stop West Ham. Like I said
yeah.
earlier, save the cheerleader, save the world. It's literally that logic. And
Yeah.
to be fair, I thought West Ham were the better team for most of the game. Not always the team with the most possession, but I thought still the better team, but still not good enough.
Yeah.
And for LCL, we've been praising Parish in. I've been praising Parish in the last couple of episodes, but in this game, I thought she was rather wasteful. Could have done better on a few shots and with some hold up play. Goodwin had one decent opportunity late in the game where Shemek eventually gathered. I basically wasted 90 minutes of my life. Might as well have watched the highlights because I learned nothing. You
But
know?
that's, yeah, I mean, honestly, it just feels like it was just one of those weeks.
Yeah.
We're coming, I mean, we are at the end of the block, right? We like the international break is coming up after the Champions League fixtures, and I don't know if there are any League Cup fixtures in midweek, but Ash, that actually leaves London City Lionesses sitting pretty in the sixth spot.
Where we predicted them to be. Yeah.
Exactly. Look at that. Look at
Look at
London
that.
City Lionesses and like saving us embarrassment. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's see if they can keep up. Uh,
Yeah, we'll definitely have a reaction to our predictions video at the end of the season. I
that
think it'll
would
be
be
funny.
funny. That would be really, really funny. All right, so that brings us to the end of All About the Match Day. We will be going live for the Champions League fixtures in the midweek. I think we're definitely doing Chelsea versus Paris FC. We'll also put out in the um, in the messages as to what other game we'll be covering in our live watch along. Uh, Before we wrap up, just a reminder once again, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you're regular, do not forget to like our videos as well as leave some comments. All right, we will catch you in the next one then. Bye bye.